The wind howls a ceaseless lament across the Patagonian steppe. Here, where the Andes meet the sky in jagged, indifferent majesty, secrets are carved not just into the rock, but into the very fabric of silence. This is a place that guards its past with an almost sentient ferocity. Welcome back to the Lostvale Chronicle. Today, we delve into a narrative that defies easy categorization. This is not folklore whispered around a campfire. It is not a myth spun from ancient fears. This is not a ghost story, nor is it mere speculation. What you are about to hear is a meticulously reconstructed account drawn from fragmented reports, sealed government documents, and the testimonies of individuals whose lives were irrevocably altered. It is a case deliberately buried, its details systematically obscured for decades. Our journey begins with an inexplicable discovery. Geometric structures of an unknown origin, hidden deep within a remote Patagonian mountain range. It quickly unfolds into a tale of official confusion and subsequent chilling suppression. We will uncover evidence pointing not to natural formations or human ingenuity, but to something far more ancient, far more alien, something that shaped the very stone with an unfathomable purpose. These are the forgotten architects. Listen closely, for the silence of Patagonia holds more than just wind. It holds a truth. This is the Obsidian Labyrinth, Patagonia's forgotten architects. In the austral summer of 1962, a routine geological survey team operating deep within the remote Patagonian Andes made an unprecedented discovery. Tasked with mapping mineral deposits near the Cerro Torre Massif, Dr. Elias Thorne and his small crew stumbled upon a series of anomalies that defied all conventional explanation. What they found was not a natural rock formation, but something far more deliberate, partially obscured by millennia of glacial erosion and shifting scree. The initial reports filed by Dr. Thorne spoke of vast, precisely cut obsidian blocks, arranged in intricate, non-Euclidean patterns. These formations were unlike any known geological feature in the region, nor did they resemble any indigenous construction. The sheer scale of the buried structures immediately presented a profound puzzle to the geologists who were accustomed to the raw, unshaped grandeur of the Patagonian landscape. Official channels reacted with a mixture of skepticism and urgent curiosity. A preliminary reconnaissance mission, dispatched from Buenos Aires, confirmed Thorne's observations, though its findings were immediately classified. The document states that a specialized military unit secured the perimeter within weeks, citing unspecified national security concerns, effectively isolating the site from any further independent examination. Contradictions emerged almost instantly concerning the age and composition of the structures. Early carbon dating results, according to a declassified memo, presented an impossible antiquity, pushing the estimated construction date far beyond any known human civilization in the Americas. Furthermore, the obsidian itself exhibited unusual crystalline properties not commonly found in local volcanic deposits, suggesting either an unknown source or an advanced modification process. The response from the authorities quickly shifted from investigation to suppression. All public geological surveys in the region were abruptly halted, as documented in a series of administrative orders from late 1962. Dr. Thorne and his team were reassigned to unrelated projects, their initial findings quietly dismissed as misinterpretations of natural phenomena. Witness statements from local guides who reported unusual activity and rapid military deployment were officially categorized as unsubstantiated rumors. Decades later, fragments of these original reports began to surface through unofficial channels, prompting a modern reanalysis of the suppressed data. Independent researchers, cross-referencing declassified flight paths and seismic anomalies, have identified discrepancies in the official geological maps of the period. These newer analyses suggest the presence of extensive subsurface structures, far larger than Thorne's initial visual discovery indicated. The lingering question remains: if these structures are not natural, and they predate all known human capacity, Then who were the architects of this obsidian labyrinth hidden beneath the whispering peaks of Patagonia? Following the initial securing of the site, a more detailed examination of the obsidian structures commenced under strict military oversight. Specialist geological and archaeological teams were deployed, operating under unprecedented secrecy. Their early findings, as recorded in heavily redacted internal memos, spoke not only of the structure's geometric precision, but also of the material's extraordinary properties. The obsidian blocks exhibited a remarkable uniformity in composition, far beyond natural volcanic vitrification. Analysis revealed a crystalline purity and density that made the material exceptionally resistant to conventional cutting tools. This presented an immediate conundrum for scientists who struggled to reconcile the apparent age of the formations with the advanced techniques seemingly required for their shaping. Official directives from the Argentine Ministry of Defense, dated early 1963, established a permanent research facility within the exclusion zone. This move signaled a significant escalation in the government's investment and control over the anomaly. Despite the increased resources, all findings were to remain strictly confidential, with reports routed directly to a select interagency committee. Contradictions soon mounted regarding the structure's inherent nature. While initial reports focused on the external geometry, later subsurface imaging, detailed in a leaked technical summary, indicated a complex internal network of chambers and conduits. This suggested an architectural intent far beyond mere surface decoration, yet no known civilization possessed the means to create such subterranean works in solid obsidian. The suppression of information became even more pronounced. Key members of the original survey team and the first scientific deployments were subsequently isolated or subjected to non-disclosure agreements of extreme scope. Official records from this period omit any mention of the obsidian structures, instead focusing on unrelated mineral exploration in the region, a clear attempt to divert attention. The whereabouts of several critical early samples, mentioned in an inventory log from 1964, remain officially unknown. Modern reanalysis, based on a handful of leaked photographic plates and indirect seismic data, suggests the obsidian was not merely cut, but possibly fused or grown into its intricate forms. Material scientists note that the surface characteristics hint at a non-mechanical shaping process, possibly involving extreme heat or pressure, technologies far beyond 20th century understanding. These observations deepen the mystery surrounding the structure's creation. The unanswered question then becomes not just who built these impossible structures, but how was such an intractable material manipulated with such profound precision and on such a colossal scale, leaving behind only echoes in the stone. The intensified research efforts at the Patagonian site, focusing on the newly discovered internal networks of the Obsidian Labyrinth, led to an unsettling development in late 1963. Dr. Alistair Finch, a lead archaeoacoustician assigned to the permanent research facility, vanished without a trace from within the secured perimeter. His mandate was to analyze unusual resonant frequencies detected deep within the obsidian chambers. Initial reports from the military detachment overseeing the facility conveyed immediate confusion. Dr. Finch's personal effects remained in his quarters, and his research notes were found open on his desk, detailing preliminary findings of complex harmonic patterns within the structures. There was no evidence of forced entry or exit, nor any signs of struggle within the highly controlled environment. The official response was swift and decisive. The specific sector of the labyrinth where Dr. Finch was last seen was immediately sealed off, and all research operations within it were suspended. An internal military investigation, documented as Operation Blackout Phase 2, was launched, its findings classified at the highest level within weeks. The public record, however, simply indicated a personnel transfer for Dr. Finch, followed by his unexplained absence from any subsequent professional registries. Contradictions quickly emerged from the few available records. Security logs from the facility, later leaked in fragments, indicated no unauthorized movement in or out of the perimeter during the critical time frame. Yet the official narrative, circulated internally, pointed to a possible unauthorized departure. Furthermore, a preliminary report from Dr. Finch's assistant, later suppressed, described a sudden cessation of the unusual acoustic data just prior to his disappearance, directly contradicting the idea of a simple walk-off. The initié. Sident was systematically suppressed. All direct colleagues of Dr. Finch were debriefed and subsequently reassigned, their testimonies never officially recorded. Any mention of his name or his specific research focus was expunged from subsequent project documentation. The critical Incident Report 7 Alpha, detailing the initial findings of the disappearance, remains sealed and inaccessible to this day, its contents only hinted at in oblique references within other classified documents. Modern reanalysis, piecing together fragments of declassified communications and forensic linguistics from available testimonies, points to a deliberate obfuscation. Researchers now hypothesize a direct link between Dr. Finch's acoustic investigations and his disappearance, suggesting he may have uncovered something profoundly disruptive within the labyrinth itself. The precise nature of the detected resonant frequencies, described in unofficial notes as structured but non-natural, remains a key point of speculation. The unanswered question then became, did Dr. Finch simply disappear, or did the Obsidian Labyrinth, in some inexplicable way, claim him as its first documented casualty? Following Dr. Finch's disappearance, the sealed sector of the Obsidian Labyrinth underwent an exhaustive forensic sweep. Investigators, working under extreme pressure, found no direct evidence of Finch himself, but they did uncover something profoundly unexpected in his last known location. Embedded within the crystalline floor of the chamber were microscopic traces of obsidian, exhibiting an unusual, almost crystalline residue that seemed to have emanated from the very walls. This discovery immediately introduced a new layer of confusion. The residue, identified as a highly refined form of the labyrinth's unique obsidian, displayed altered atomic properties inconsistent with natural erosion or simple environmental wear. Its presence, deep within a seemingly pristine and stable architectural space, defied conventional geological explanation. Scientists struggled to understand how such a material could appear in this form. The official response was to dispatch a specialized forensic geology team. Their internal report, designated Project Chimera, shifted the focus away from Finch's fate and onto the material's anomalous properties. The team meticulously documented the residue's distribution, noting its concentration around specific geometric patterns on the chamber walls, suggesting a non-random deposition. This marked a significant pivot in the investigation. Contradictions within the research quickly became apparent. While the obsidian structures were previously considered inert, the residue suggested a dynamic, possibly active process within the labyrinth. The very notion that the material could transform or emanate defied all established understanding of volcanic glass. Furthermore, initial spectral analysis, later marked as confidential, unverified, hinted at trace elements not found in the surrounding Patagonian geology, indicating an external or unknown books. The details of Project Chimera were swiftly compartmentalized, with access restricted to an even smaller, more highly vetted group of researchers. All public-facing documents maintained that Dr. Finch's disappearance remained an unsolved mystery, with no mention of any material anomalies found at the site. Key sections of the forensic report, particularly those detailing the spectral analysis, remain redacted to this day, fueling persistent speculation among those with indirect knowledge of the project. Modern reanalysis, drawing on fragmented internal memos and oblique references from the time, suggests that the residue might indicate a previously unknown material transformation process. Contemporary material scientists now hypothesize that the obsidian itself, under certain conditions, might not be merely a static construction material, but an active component, capable of subtle, localized changes. This challenges the foundational assumptions about the labyrinth's nature. The unanswered question then became, was this obsidian residue a direct consequence of Dr. Finch's acoustic research, a sign that the labyrinth itself was responding, or were these traces of obsidian evidence of a slow, inexplicable process that predated his arrival, waiting to reveal itself? The investigation into the obsidian residue led to an extensive remapping effort of the labyrinth's deepest chambers. particularly the sector where Dr. Finch disappeared. In early 1964, a specialized cartography unit, led by Dr. Elena Petrova, reported an unprecedented spatial anomaly. Their high-resolution sonar and laser scans indicated that a previously charted internal passage had either significantly elongated or subtly shifted its position, defying all known principles of geological stability. This discovery immediately plunged the project into profound confusion. Dr. Petrova's team meticulously recalibrated their equipment multiple times, cross-referencing their data with earlier, less detailed surveys. Each subsequent scan confirmed the anomaly. The passage consistently appeared longer and subtly misaligned compared to its original coordinates, as if the very geometry of the space was in flux. Such a structural change in a solid obsidian formation was deemed impossible. The official response was to isolate Dr. Petrova's unit and confiscate all their raw data. A separate, highly vetted team from the military's engineering corps was dispatched to conduct an independent verification. Their mandate was to either discredit Petrova's findings or provide a conventional explanation for the discrepancies. The project leadership, documented in internal memos, was deeply concerned about the implications of a non-static structure. Contradictions swiftly emerged. The independent engineering team, while confirming the spatial anomaly, attributed it to localized seismic microshifts and instrumentation error, despite their own internal reports showing no concurrent seismic activity in the region. Furthermore, Dr. Petrova's original survey maps, dating back only months, explicitly depicted a stable, unchanging layout, creating an irreconcilable conflict with the new date. The official explanation was directly at odds with the documented evidence. The cartographic anomaly was quickly suppressed. Dr. Petrova and her entire team were relieved of their duties, their findings officially dismissed as methodological inaccuracies. All detailed mapping data from the period was classified under Project Chimera subsection Beta, effectively removing it from public and even most internal scrutiny. Dr. Petrova's subsequent career was severely impacted, marked by an official reprimand for unsubstantiated reporting, effectively ending her work in sensitive research. Modern reanalysis of fragmented and declassified reports from the period, including partial transcripts of Dr. Petrova's debriefing, suggests a more complex reality. Contemporary geometric analysis now posits that the labyrinth might exhibit non-Euclidean properties, where spatial relationships are not constant. This reinterpretation challenges the very definition of a fixed architectural space, hinting at an environment that actively resists conventional mapping. The unanswered question persists. Was the cartographer's curse a mere professional downfall stemming from a reporting error, or did Dr. Petrova genuinely encounter a living, shifting geometry within the Obsidian Labyrinth, a phenomenon that defied not just understanding but also accurate representation? The unsettling cartographic anomalies prompted a new focus on the labyrinth's internal environment, particularly within the deepest, previously unmapped sectors. In late 1964, a specialized atmospheric monitoring team, initially deployed to assess air quality and structural integrity, began reporting highly localized transient fog banks. These formations appeared and dissipated with remarkable regularity, seemingly independent of ambient temperature or humidity levels. This discovery immediately introduced a new layer of profound confusion. The fog did not behave like any known meteorological phenomenon. It would materialize within specific geometric patterns on the obsidian walls, linger for precise durations, and then vanish without a trace, leaving no residual moisture or temperature shift. Its behavior defied conventional atmospheric physics, suggesting an artificial or highly controlled process. The official response was to establish Project Nimbus, an interdisciplinary task force comprising atmospheric chemists, geologists, and structural engineers. Their mandate was to meticulously analyze the composition of the fog and identify any potential natural explanations for its peculiar appearance. The project leadership, as noted in declassified directives, prioritized understanding this phenomenon to ensure operational safety within the labyrinth. Contradictions swiftly emerged from Project Nimbus's findings. While the fog was primarily water vapor, spectral analysis, documented in a heavily redacted 1965 report, indicated the presence of unusual trace elements. Crucially, some of these elements mirrored the unverified anomalies previously detected in the obsidian residue from Chapter 4, creating an unexpected link between disparate phenomena. The official public explanation, however, attributed the fog to localized geothermal vents, a claim unsupported by the E-Team's internal geological surveys. Details regarding the fog's patterned appearance and anomalous composition were quickly suppressed. All internal reports detailing the precise geometric correlation were flagged as highly sensitive and removed from general project documentation. Project Nimbus was officially disbanded in early 1966, its findings consolidated into a single, heavily sanitized public summary that omitted any mention of the unusual trace elements or the patterned behavior. Modern reanalysis, drawing upon fragmented technical logs and partial declassified transcripts, suggests a more complex reality. Contemporary atmospheric scientists now theorize that the fog might not be a passive environmental phenomenon, but an active, controlled manifestation of the labyrinth itself. This reinterpretation posits that the structure could be influencing its internal atmosphere in a deliberate, patterned manner, perhaps related to its observed spatial shifts. The unanswered question persists. Was this pattern in the fog merely an exotic natural occurrence, a rare atmospheric anomaly within a unique geological structure? Or did the monitoring teams inadvertently stumble upon evidence of the Obsidian Labyrinth's capacity for environmental manipulation, a silent, patterned communication that remains undeciphered? Following the perplexing observations of patterned fog and spatial anomalies, a new phase of exploratory drilling was initiated in the labyrinth's deepest known sections in early 1966. The objective was to obtain core samples for geological dating and material analysis. During this operation, a drilling team reported encountering an incredibly dense, non-obsidian layer beneath several meters of the black rock. This layer exhibited a metallic sheen and an unusual resistance to conventional drilling equipment. This discovery immediately generated profound confusion. Geological surveys had consistently indicated a homogeneous obsidian structure to immense depths. The presence of an entirely different, incredibly resilient material, seemingly embedded within the labyrinth, directly contradicted all prior understanding of its composition. Initial attempts to identify the material using portable spectrometers yielded inconclusive and often contradictory readings, baffling the on-site geologists. The official response was swift and decisive. All drilling operations were immediately halted, and the site of the discovery was sealed off. A special materials science unit, operating under stringent security protocols, was dispatched to analyze the anomaly. Their mandate, as detailed in classified mission directives, was to determine the material's origin and properties without causing further structural disturbance or attracting external attention. Contradictions soon emerged within the materials science unit itself. Public-facing reports, later declassified, concluded the layer was merely an iron-rich geological inclusion. However, highly sensitive internal memos from mid-1966 described the material as possessing anomalous crystalline structures and non-terrestrial isotopic ratios. These findings were explicitly omitted from the official summary, underscoring a deliberate effort to control the narrative. The evidence of the anomalous material was quickly suppressed. All samples and detailed analytical reports were classified under Project Chimera subsection Gamma, sealed from all but a select few. Key scientists involved in the initial analysis were abruptly reassigned to unrelated projects, their findings officially attributed to instrumentation calibration errors. The convenient timing of these reassignments suggests a coordinated effort to silence inconvenient truths. Modern reanalysis, drawing upon fragmented technical notes and oblique references in declassified personnel files, suggests a more sophisticated reality. Contemporary materials scientists, reviewing the sparse available data, now theorize that the layer could be a form of advanced composite material, exhibiting properties far beyond 20th century understanding. Its integration within the obsidian structure hints at deliberate engineering rather than natural formation. The unanswered question persists. If the Obsidian Labyrinth contains structures or materials that defy natural geological processes and contemporary human engineering, then who or what were the unseen architects responsible for its construction? What intelligence designed and embedded such anomalous elements within the heart of Patagonia? In late 1966, monitoring stations established around the perimeter of the Obsidian Labyrinth began reporting unusual geological activity. These reports detailed localized rapid shifts in the surrounding Patagonian landscape, primarily affecting the loose sedimentary plains and the lower slopes of the adjacent hills. The changes were not consistent with typical seismic events or gradual erosion. Instead, they appeared as sudden, patterned reorganizations of the terrain. This discovery immediately caused significant confusion among the geological survey teams. The shifts manifested as new depressions, sudden uplifted ridges, or the rapid displacement of large volumes of earth, often occurring overnight. The scale and speed of these alterations defied known geological processes for the region, prompting urgent requests for further investigation into their anomalous nature. The official response was to implement Project Geoscape, a comprehensive study aimed at understanding and mitigating these unexpected environmental changes. Its primary objective, as outlined in official directives from the Ministry of Natural Resources, was to determine if the labyrinth itself was causing these shifts and to ensure the stability of the research infrastructure surrounding it. The project deployed advanced ground-penetrating radar and seismic sensors. Contradictions within Project Geoscape's findings were stark. Public statements attributed the shifts to unstable glacial till and localized microseismic activity. However, internal reports from late 1967, later partially declassified, indicated that the ground-penetrating radar had detected subsurface conduits and unnatural compaction zones directly correlating with the observed shifts. These anomalies suggested an engineered rather than natural process. Evidence pointing to artificial manipulation of the landscape was quickly suppressed. All detailed data concerning the subsurface conduits was classified under Level 5 operational security and removed from public-facing documents. Several key geophysicists involved in the conduit discovery were transferred to remote, unrelated projects, and their findings were officially reinterpreted as data anomalies or instrumentation errors. Modern reanalysis, piecing together fragmented sensor logs and oblique references in declassified reports, offers a compelling alternative. Contemporary geomorphologists now theorize that the labyrinth might possess the capacity to actively reconfigure its immediate external environment. This reinterpretation suggests the shifting sands were not random geological events, but deliberate, controlled alterations of the surrounding terrain, perhaps for defensive or adaptive purposes. The unanswered question persists. If the Obsidian Labyrinth can orchestrate such profound and rapid changes to the Patagonian landscape, what is its ultimate purpose for doing so? Are these shifts a form of territorial assertion, a self-repair mechanism, or a silent, ongoing demonstration of its architect's immense capabilities, reshaping the world around it according to an unknown design? In 1968, acoustic monitoring equipment, initially deployed to detect microseismic activity within the labyrinth, began picking up an unusual pattern of low-frequency vibrations. These were not natural geological sounds, but appeared to be structured, repeating sequences emanating from deep within the obsidian mass. The signals were distinct from any background noise, suggesting a deliberate origin. The immediate discovery caused profound confusion among the technical staff. The sounds were initially dismissed as equipment malfunction or atmospheric interference. However, as the patterns became clearer and more consistent over several weeks, engineers and acousticians were baffled by their persistence and complexity. The vibrations did not resemble any known natural phenomena or human-made signals. The official response was to establish a highly secretive psychoacoustics team to analyze the anomalous signals. Their mission, outlined in classified Project Echo directives, was to determine the nature and origin of these voices while maintaining absolute secrecy. Publicly, the team's presence was attributed to advanced geological stress monitoring, and subsurface mapping. Contradictions soon emerged from within Project Echo's own data. Public statements from late 1968 attributed the signals to subterranean water flows or tectonic resonance, dismissing their structured nature. Yet confidential internal reports described the patterns as exhibiting complex mathematical characteristics and non-random harmonic progressions, with some analysts even suggesting a syntactic structure within the data. The most compelling findings regarding the structured nature of the signals were immediately suppressed. All detailed spectral analyses and linguistic interpretations were categorized under Anomaly Protocol Sigma 7 and removed from accessible archives. The lead acoustics expert, Dr. Elena Petrova, reportedly resigned under mysterious circumstances shortly thereafter. Her research papers officially declared unsubstantiated. Modern reanalysis, drawing upon incomplete signal logs and fragmented audio snippets recovered from a declassified archive in the late 1990s, allowed independent researchers to apply contemporary signal processing techniques. This reanalysis revealed astonishing complexity, suggesting the vibrations were not merely random sounds, but possibly a form of communication or data transmission operating on frequencies often imperceptible to the unaided human ear. The unanswered question persists. If the Obsidian Labyrinth is indeed generating these intricate structured vibrations, then what message do they convey, and to whom are they directed? Are these voices from below a silent dialogue between the labyrinth and its unseen architects, or a broadcast intended for an audience far beyond our comprehension, echoing through the very bedrock of Patagonia? In early 1969, advanced subsurface mapping technologies, deployed as part of Project Geoscape to monitor the labyrinth's stability, registered an unprecedented discovery. Deep within the obsidian structure, at its geometric center, the sensors identified a massive, highly anomalous chamber or core. Its density readings and internal complexity far exceeded any other part of the known labyrinth. The immediate discovery caused significant confusion among the scientific teams. The core's internal structure did not conform to any known geological formation or conventional architectural design. Its precise dimensions and composition remained elusive, shielded by layers of obsidian, but its distinct energy signature baffled all attempts at classification. This central anomaly challenged every prevailing theory about the labyrinth's construction. The official response was the immediate formation of Operation Centurion, a highly classified initiative to penetrate and investigate this central core. Its directive, as documented in top-secret memoranda, was to ascertain the core's function and composition at all costs. An elite team of engineers and speleologists was assembled, equipped with experimental drilling and scanning technologies, preparing for an unprecedented descent. Contradictions regarding the core's nature quickly arose. Publicly, Project Geoscape continued to describe the labyrinth as a natural, albeit unusual, basaltic formation. However, internal Operation Centurion logs, later partially declassified, recorded fluctuating electromagnetic fields and intricate internal geometries within the core, suggesting an artificial, perhaps technological origin. Some reports even hinted at sustained low-level energy emissions. Information concerning Operation Centurion's progress and the core's true characteristics was subjected to extreme suppression. After an initial period of sporadic communication, all transmissions from the penetration team ceased abruptly in late 1969. Official records indicate the operation was terminated due to insurmountable geological obstacles, and all related data was sealed under the highest security protocols, effectively erasing the mission's true outcome. Modern reanalysis, meticulously reconstructing the scattered data fragments from Operation Centurion and cross-referencing them with later satellite imagery, proposes a radical hypothesis. Contemporary physicists now theorize that the central core is not merely a chamber, but a fundamental component, possibly a power source or a primary control unit, for the entire Obsidian Labyrinth. Its energy output, though suppressed, might be immense. The unanswered question remains: what was truly discovered at the heart of the maze, and what became of Operation Centurion's team? Did they uncover a technological marvel, an ancient power source, or something far more profound and dangerous, prompting the complete and utter suppression of all information about the Obsidian Labyrinth's deepest secret? In the brutal winter of 1969, amidst the escalating secrecy of Operation Centurion, a critical internal communication was intercepted by an unsanctioned monitoring station near the southern Patagonian icefield. This message, encoded and transmitted by a junior communications officer attached to the Centurion team, alleged a deliberate act of sabotage within the project. It claimed the insurmountable geological obstacles officially cited for the mission's failure were a calculated deception. The immediate discovery of this rogue transmission caused profound confusion among the few who received it. The message directly contradicted official reports, which meticulously detailed geological instability and equipment failure as the reasons for halting the core penetration. The coded text, however, spoke of internal factions and a deliberate effort to prevent the Centurion team from reaching the labyrinth's heart, painting a picture of deliberate obstruction. The official response was swift and uncompromising. Within days of the message's interception, a full-scale internal security investigation was launched, codenamed Operation Icefall. Its stated purpose was to identify and neutralize any disloyal elements within Project Centurion. The communications officer, identified as Lieutenant Marco Ramirez, was immediately declared a security risk and listed as AWOL, last seen near a remote glacial outpost. Contradictions regarding Ramirez's disappearance and the Centurion project's termination became stark. While official reports maintained his desertion was due to psychological stress exacerbated by extreme conditions, the intercepted message implied he was silenced for revealing a systematic internal conspiracy. It detailed how key equipment had been tampered with and crucial data deliberately corrupted, ensuring the mission's failure from within. The suppression that he followed was absolute. Lieutenant Ramirez vanished without a trace. His family later informed of a tragic accident during a solo recon mission in the glacial wilderness. All records pertaining to the rogue transmission and Operation Icefall were purged from accessible databases sealed under extreme classification. The incident was officially attributed to a lone, unstable individual, effectively burying the claims of internal betrayal. Modern reanalysis, facilitated by the recovery of fragmented, encrypted data logs from a decommissioned intelligence satellite in the early 2000s, offers a chilling perspective. Digital forensics experts have since confirmed the authenticity of Ramirez's original message, revealing the sophisticated nature of the internal sabotage. The evidence suggests a powerful, unidentified faction within the clandestine projects actively orchestrated the failure of Operation Centurion. The unanswered question persists. Who within the labyrinthine command structure initiated this act of betrayal, and what terrifying truth about the Obsidian core were they so desperate to conceal that they would sacrifice a mission, falsify records, and silence a whistleblower in the desolate expanse of the Patagonian glaciers? In the aftermath of Lieutenant Ramirez's disappearance, a small, independent journalistic collective operating under the radar in Santiago received an anonymous tip in early 1970. This tip contained fragmented, decoded snippets of Ramirez's final transmission, alongside an unverified report of his alleged accident. The discovery immediately unveiled a narrative far more sinister than any official statement. The immediate confusion for the journalists was profound. They grappled with the implications of the message, which suggested a high-level cover-up extending beyond a single whistleblower. The ethical dilemma of pursuing such a dangerous story, given the military's vast influence, weighed heavily on their collective conscience. The potential repercussions for their lives and their publication were immense. The official response to any inquiries, however indirect, was immediate and intimidating. The collective's offices were subjected to unscheduled inspections, their phones tapped, and their sources implicitly threatened. Official records show several members of the collective faced routine security checks, a thinly veiled warning against further investigation. This aggressive posture confirmed the sensitivity of the information they possessed. Contradictions mounted as the journalists attempted to verify the anonymous tip. While official reports consistently denied any internal dissent within Project Centurion, the recovered fragments spoke of unethical directives and deliberate obfuscation. The stark discrepancy between the public facade of scientific exploration and the alleged reality of internal conspiracy was undeniable. The timeline of Ramirez's accident also shifted subtly in official accounts, raising further suspicion. The suppression of this truth came at a significant human cost. The journalistic collective, despite their initial resolve, eventually ceased their investigation into Ramirez's fate. Several members disappeared or fled the country, citing personal reasons. The collective's archives, including their partial decoding of Ramirez's message, were reportedly confiscated in a raid that was never officially acknowledged. The silence that descended was absolute, a chilling testament to the power of the project's overseers. Modern reanalysis, decades later, through the work of human rights organizations and declassified government files from unrelated operations, slowly began to piece together the true price of this knowledge. Testimonies from former project personnel, given under anonymity much later, confirmed the climate of fear and the direct consequences faced by anyone who questioned the official narrative. The suppression of truth was not an abstract policy, but a devastating personal experience for many. The unanswered question at the core of this chapter is not merely about what happened to Lieutenant Ramirez, but about the broader moral compromise. What is the true ethical cost of pursuing knowledge at any price? And what lasting scars does such profound and violent secrecy leave on a society, particularly when the truth remains buried beneath layers of political power and glacial ice? Decades after the forced silence surrounding Project Centurion and the journalistic collective, a peculiar artifact resurfaced in a private collection in Buenos Aires in 2018. Catalogued simply as pre-Columbian stone tablet, unknown origin, it was a small, intricately carved obsidian slab, approximately 20 by 15 centimeters. Its surface bore geometric patterns and symbols that bore a striking yet unsettling resemblance to the internal structure diagrams of the Patagonian Labyrinth glimpsed in leaked Centurion documents. The immediate confusion surrounding the obsidian tablet was profound. Its provenance was vague, acquired through a series of anonymous transactions. Experts in South American archaeology could not place its style or script within any known indigenous culture. The material itself, a specific type of volcanic glass, hinted at a geological origin consistent with the Patagonian region, raising immediate questions about its connection to the sealed site. There was no direct official response to the tablet's rediscovery, as its significance remained unrecognized by mainstream institutions. However, an unofficial network of researchers and former Centurion associates began to quietly monitor its appearance. Reports from this period indicate a subtle increase in cyber surveillance targeting individuals who expressed interest in the tablet, suggesting a lingering, clandestine oversight. Contradictions regarding the labyrinth's nature became starkly apparent with the tablet's analysis. Official Centurion reports consistently described the Patagonian site as a geological anomaly, albeit a complex one. Yet, the obsidian tablet's precise, non-naturalistic carvings and its apparent depiction of an inner mechanism challenged this narrative. It suggested intelligent design and an understanding of the labyrinth far predating modern exploration. The suppression of Antanes. A public discussion or serious academic study of the tablet was swift and effective. Offers for scientific analysis were mysteriously withdrawn, and online forums discussing its potential link to Patagonia were quickly purged of content. Accounts from independent researchers speak of funding drying up and access to related historical archives being inexplicably denied, creating a vacuum of silence around the artifact. Modern reanalysis, initiated by a clandestine group of independent cryptographers and geological specialists, gradually unveiled the tablet's true nature. They discovered it was not merely a map, but a complex schematic, perhaps even a functional component. The patterns, once deciphered through advanced algorithms, appeared to represent harmonic frequencies and resonant pathways, suggesting the obsidian itself might be a conduit or a trigger, It was, in essence, a metaphorical key to the labyrinth's operational principles. The unanswered question now loomed larger than ever. If this obsidian tablet truly functions as a key, what hidden mechanism within the labyrinth does it activate? And what profound, perhaps dangerous secrets does it promise to unlock? The rediscovery and clandestine analysis of the Obsidian Key ignited a renewed, albeit covert, interest in the Patagonian Labyrinth among a small circle of dedicated researchers. Their collective efforts, spanning years, culminated in the pinpointing of a previously overlooked geological anomaly within the Centurion exclusion zone in late 2022. This anomaly, identified through advanced satellite imagery and seismic data, was a subtle, perfectly circular depression, approximately 50 meters in diameter, that did not conform to any natural geological formation. The immediate confusion among the researchers was palpable. While the circular depression was clearly artificial, its purpose and connection to the vast labyrinth remained unclear. It was too small to be an entrance, yet its precise geometry and unusual material composition, indicated by spectral analysis, suggested a deliberate construction. This was not merely a natural feature, but a deliberate, engineered component. There was no direct official response to this discovery, as it remained largely outside the purview of mainstream scientific or governmental bodies. However, a series of unusual logistical movements were observed near the Centurion exclusion zone by the independent research team. These included unexplained flights of unmarked helicopters and the deployment of specialized ground teams, hinting at a heightened, though undeclared, official awareness and concern. Contradictions mounted when the researchers compared their findings with the original Centurion records. The 1960s documents consistently emphasized the labyrinth's natural origins, depicting it as a geological marvel. Yet the newly identified circular depression, with its unmistakable signs of intelligent construction, directly challenged this foundational premise. It suggested a level of engineering far beyond what was previously acknowledged, pointing to a deliberate, rather than accidental, design. The suppression of information surrounding this new discovery was subtle but effective. Academic papers attempting to publish findings related to the circular depression encountered unusual delays and rejections from peer-reviewed journals. Online discussions were quickly shut down, and the independent research team reported experiencing sophisticated cyber attacks aimed at their data archives. The silence was not a lack of interest, but a deliberate act of obfuscation. Modern reanalysis, integrating the Obsidian Key's schematics with the seismic and satellite data, led to a startling conclusion. The circular depression was not an entrance, but an activation point. The Obsidian Key, when interpreted in conjunction with the depression's unique material, suggested a mechanism designed to resonate with specific frequencies. This implied the depression was part of a larger integrated system, a control panel for the labyrinth itself. The architects had left not just a structure, but a means to interact with it. The unanswered question now shifted from the labyrinth's existence to its function. If the architects of this Patagonian marvel left behind a key and an activation point, what was their ultimate purpose for creating such a complex hidden system, and what would be the true consequence of its awakening? In the early hours of a Patagonian spring morning in 2023, the independent research team, utilizing the Obsidian Key, initiated a controlled activation sequence at the circular depression. Following the precise harmonic frequencies encoded within the ancient artifact, they witnessed an unprecedented event. The ground around the depression began to hum with a low, resonant frequency, and a section of the earth, previously indistinguishable from its surroundings, slowly descended, revealing a perfectly symmetrical, multi-tiered entrance chamber. This was not a natural cave, but an undeniable feat of engineering, illuminated by an internal, soft blue light. The immediate confusion was profound. The entrance chamber itself defied known architectural principles. Its seamless construction suggested a material capable of morphing or being shaped without visible joints, yet the surrounding rock remained untouched. The air within the chamber was unexpectedly warm and still, carrying no scent of dust or decay, despite its evident age. It was as if the structure had been held in suspended animation, waiting for its specific key. The official response was swift and overwhelming. Within hours of the activation, the Patagonian exclusion zone saw an unprecedented deployment of military and scientific personnel. Official records indicate a rapid expansion of the security perimeter and the implementation of a no-fly zone extending for hundreds of kilometers. Reports from local media, quickly suppressed, spoke of a geological event or unstable seismic activity, a clear attempt to control the narrative surrounding the now undeniable revelation. Contradictions regarding the labyrinth's nature became insurmountable. For decades, official Centurion documentation had maintained the site was a natural geological wonder, a complex cave system. The emergence of a perfectly engineered entry, Nice, complete with an internal energy source and an advanced material composition, shattered this narrative entirely. It definitively proved the existence of an intelligent pre-human civilization responsible for its construction, rendering all previous government reports demonstrably false. The suppression of the truth intensified as the implications of the discovery grew. All independent researchers involved in the activation were detained, their equipment confiscated, and their data archives seized. Public statements from government agencies emphasized national security interests and the fragility of the ecosystem, effectively silencing any open discussion. The official record of the event was immediately classified, and any mention of the Obsidian Key or the independent team vanished from public view. Modern reanalysis, based on leaked fragments of the initial government scientific reports, suggested the chamber was merely an antechamber to a far vaster interconnected system. The blue light, identified as a form of stable plasma, indicated an energy source of immense power and unknown origin. The architects, it seemed, had not merely built a structure, but powered an entire hidden world, designed for an unknown purpose, lying dormant beneath the Patagonian ice. The unanswered question now reverberated with unprecedented weight. What grand design did this revealed labyrinth serve? And what was the true, ultimate purpose of the ancient architects who engineered such an extraordinary hidden civilization beneath the earth? The dramatic revelation of the labyrinth's true entrance, illuminated by an alien blue light, marked a fleeting moment of clarity before the veil of secrecy descended once more. Following the comprehensive government intervention, the Centurion exclusion zone became impenetrable, its perimeter reinforced with advanced surveillance and rapid response units. All access, both physical and digital, was severed, effectively erasing the independent research team's breakthrough from public consciousness. Immediate confusion among the few who witnessed the event was replaced by a chilling certainty. The world was not ready for such a discovery. The advanced engineering, the unknown power source, and the sheer scale implied by the antechamber represented a paradigm shift too profound for immediate integration. The swiftness and thoroughness of the response suggested a deep-seated fear of the implications, rather than merely a desire for control. Official response to the labyrinth's full revelation was absolute suppression. While no public statements directly addressed the engineered entrance, a series of coordinated global news stories emerged, focusing on unrelated geopolitical tensions and environmental crises. This media saturation effectively drowned out any lingering whispers or speculative reports regarding Patagonia. The official narrative, devoid of any mention of the labyrinth, returned to its previous, unchallenged state. Contradictions regarding the site's nature were no longer debated. They were simply eradicated. Any remaining official documents or historical records that hinted at an artificial origin for the Patagonian anomaly were systematically purged or reclassified to the highest security levels. The narrative of a natural geological formation was not just maintained, but aggressively enforced, erasing decades of fragmented evidence that suggested otherwise. The suppression and silence that followed were unprecedented. The independent research team, last seen being escorted from the site, vanished without a trace. Their names, their work, and their findings were meticulously scrubbed from public databases and academic records. The digital footprint of their groundbreaking discovery was systematically dismantled, leaving no accessible trace of the Obsidian Key or the activated entrance. Modern reanalysis of the situation, piecing together the fragmented information from the initial leak and the subsequent official actions suggests a deliberate strategy of containment. The sheer effort exerted to silence the discovery points, not just to its significance, but to its potential to destabilize existing global frameworks. The blue light, the complex engineering, and the implied civilization beneath the ice were deemed too volatile to be known. The unanswered question remains, hauntingly, in the quiet spaces of official archives. What lies beyond the antechamber, within the vast, silent labyrinth? And what secrets, deemed too dangerous for humanity, are now guarded by the impenetrable silence that has once again fallen over Patagonia? The architect's ultimate purpose and the true nature of their legacy remain locked away, perhaps forever. We have journeyed through the documented history of the Obsidian Labyrinth, from whispers of ancient maps to the fleeting, stark reality of a hidden, engineered world. This is not merely a tale spun for entertainment, nor a legend passed down through generations. This is a chronicle of a truth unearthed, only to be buried again, demonstrating the profound choices made when faced with knowledge that challenges everything we believe about our past. The human responsibility in this narrative is clear. The decision to suppress such a monumental discovery carries immense weight. It implies a judgment that humanity is not ready, or perhaps not worthy, of its own forgotten history. The lingering consequences of this choice ripple through our understanding of civilization itself, leaving a void where answers should be. The mystery of the Obsidian Labyrinth does not, however, fully rest. Beneath the vast, indifferent ice of Patagonia, the intricate chambers and the silent blue light persist. The forces that shape that hidden world and the secrets they hold remain present, waiting. The silence that has fallen once more over the Patagonian exclusion zone is not one of absence, but of profound containment, a quiet sentinel guarding a truth too vast to comprehend. We invite you to consider what you have heard. Tell us where you are listening from and what time it is for you. And remember, the deepest secrets are often kept not by ancient guardians, but by modern hands.